Welcome back, everybody, to another dicondissectional production hosted by Deathstroke9. Today we're going to be reacting to Nirvana doing a David Bowie song called The Man Who Sold the World at their MTV Unplugged event in 1993. I'm very excited to check this out. This is continuing in the series where I'm going through all the different MTV Unplugged videos from Nirvana, and then maybe we'll do some of the other grunge groups that did this as well. But yeah, it's an interesting change of pace because I really like Nirvana's albums, and seeing them do this, like play these songs in this way, is really cool. It's like a reimagining of them, really. Obviously, Man Who Sold the World's a cover, but you know, something like Come As You Are, right? And yeah, I mean, it's just been an interesting experience. So thank you so much for joining me, and yeah, let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Daniel, and here we react to music, and I try to figure out what the music and the lyrics mean to me personally, and we do lots of research on the groups and the songs and the lyrics and the events and all that fun stuff. So here we go. Man Who Sold the World.
I guarantee you I will screw this song up. So.
What song is it? You know which part.
Yeah, well, I at least know which part I'll screw up.
Yeah, like he only screws one up.
Yeah, like he only screws one up. Tone of that guitar is so cool. Oh, wow.
Upon the stairs, spoken wasn't well, although I wasn't there. He said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes, I thought you died alone, a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. We never lost control. The face to face of the man who sold the world.
Such a cool song. I love that riff too. Like, it's just such a it's a beautiful riff, really, you know. And the scale that he plays, the like ascending scale in between the verses, is really cool too. Yeah, man, I love the feeling of this entire show is so interesting to me, you know. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's continue.
I laughed and shook his hand. I made my way back home. I searched for foreign land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed and stared. We must have million years. I must have died alone a long, long time ago. Who knows? Not me. I never lost control.
There's a little bit of feedback there that was perfect.
To face with the man who sold the world. Who knows? Not me. We never lost control. Your face to face of the man who sold the world. was a David Bowie song.
Yes. Yes, it was. I don't want it to... Let's see.
What's next?
Okay, let's stop it there. Lest it go on to the next video in this playlist. All right, that was The Man Who Sold the World live on MTV Unplugged. Yeah, saw Kurt doing the jaw thing again, which I might have mentioned on one of the other reactions to this performance. Not that that matters. Anyway, yeah, I really liked how first of all, how the guitar solo, how he like missed the note a little bit, and yet it like added, you know, it didn't even sound that out of place, you know. He went one fret too high, it looked like, and then just went down, you know, like he fixed it, and the sound of it, like the dissonance between it and what the I think it was the cello was playing, actually worked really well. There was another moment where there was like a little bit of feedback that sounded like, when I heard it, it made me think of like a ghost. And like the whole atmosphere of this entire show is kind of eerie, but also like warm at the same time, and also has the attitude of Nirvana, which is, you know, a very F the world attitude, you know, and also world weary attitude too. Yeah. Anyway, so let's take a look at the lyrics. Song originally by David Bowie that Kurt Cobain and Nirvana played at their famous MTV Unplugged show. The song's main character, a man who feels like he is soul to soul in personality, really seemed to fit Cobain's feelings around the time he played the song. What has Bowie said about Nirvana covering his song before Cobain's death? In an interview broadcast on Dutch TV, Bowie said it's a very sad rendition because it's so tied up in life and death. So it takes on all these different shades for me, because I also remember fairly clearly my state of mind when I was writing it, which was, I guess, as near to a mystical state as a 19-year-old can get into. I remember it was a time when I was sort of studying Buddhism for my 15 minutes of Buddhism, so it's interesting that it changed. It really had two mystical states, the time I wrote it and recorded it, and the time that Kurt Cobain wrote it. When he wrote it again, when he recorded it, and the things that led to his end after that, it still retains, for me, a sense of the mystical. Then another person asks, how can this ever be dubbed a Nirvana song? It's just a cover, for God's sake. The person beneath it writes, even covers of songs can be mistaken for originals if the original song is obscure enough to a certain artist. Case in point, this song, and others like I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and a cover of a song from a much less popular band called Arrows. Yeah, but David Bowie's super well known. Maybe the song specifically wasn't? Who knows? I think they played multiple. Have we gotten to them yet? Come As You Are. Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam's another great example. I think they play like a Meat Puppet song. They play like a lot of covers actually in their set list. Like I looked at the set list and there's quite a few covers. Anyway, David Bowie said, I was simply blown away when I found out Kurt Cobain liked my work, and I always wanted to talk to him about his reasons for covering Man Who Sold the World. It was a good, straightforward rendition and sounded very honest. It would have been nice to have worked with him, but just talking to him would have been really cool. That is very sad, actually. Yeah. All right. We passed upon the stairs. We spoke of was and when. Although I wasn't there, he said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. We never lost control. You're face to face with the man who sold the world. Kurt Cobain has ranked David Bowie's Man Who Sold the World as 45 of his top 50 albums. On the album's cover, David Bowie is dressed as a woman. This symbolizes his struggle for self-identity, as does the disjoint character David Bowie creates in this song. Kurt Cobain similarly struggled with his own self-identity. In regard to his own life, he is famously quoted as saying, I really haven't had that exciting of a life. There are a lot of things I wish I could have done instead of just sitting around and complaining about having a boring life. So I pretty much like to make it up. I'd rather tell a story about somebody else. In the David Bowie original, and similarly accepting in the Nirvana rendition, this line is the figurative representation of the singer meeting themselves at a crossroad in their life. The narrator in the song is speaking to his friend, which is heavily implied given that the song is about struggling with self-identity to be his former self. He says he believed his friend died a long time ago. This line has a personal connection to David Bowie himself, as he began struggling with this same identity crisis when he began performing as Ziggy Stardust. Here the protagonist is explaining to their former self that they do still remember who they are, but sold the world is them recognizing and explaining to their former self that they have sold out. I laughed and shook his hand and made my way back home. I searched for foreign land, for years and years I roamed. I gazed a gazely stare. We walked a million hills. I must have died alone a long, long time ago. It's so surreal. The whole song is feels like the lyrics feel like an out-of-body experience and journey, really. And that's it. That's the entire song. And then you get the really cool guitar solo, which sounds like the sound of wandering. And yeah, that's Nirvana, The Man Who Sold the World, live MTV Unplugged. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you guys soon. If you would like to support the channel, consider subscribing or, because I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers by the end of September. Hopefully we can do it. It'd be really cool because my birthday's coming up and I also want to stimulate growth by posting more. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys soon. Deathstroke 9 out. We are Legion, my friends.